We have just celebrated Janmashtami, the birth of Krishna. We see the images of a joyful baby, a divine child, adored and celebrated, but I think we forget the truth of the circumstances of his birth. He was not born in a palace, he was born in a prison. He was not born into celebration, he was born into a prophecy of death. His story is not just a happy birthday, it's a blueprint for how hope is born. In the middle of the darkest dungeons, when it feels like a tyrant rules our world and every dream we have is being destroyed before our eyes. Today, we will tell the full harrowing story of Krishna's birth, and from its darkest moments, we will extract a 3-step framework for finding a way out when you completely and utterly feel trapped. Welcome to Veda Now. The blueprint of hope. The story begins with a wedding and a prophecy from the heavens that the 8th son of the bride, Devki, would be the doom of her tyrannical brother, King Kans. And Kans, consumed by fear, imprisons his own sister and her husband, Vasudev. And as their first child is born, he snatches the infant and he smashes him against a stone slab. He does this again and again and again. Imagine the horror, the absolute hopelessness of that dungeon. Devki is described as having drunk the blood of 6 of her children. Every glimmer of hope, every new life is extinguished by the tyrant. But even in this despair, Vasudev and Devki perform the first, most essential act. They keep trying. They don't give up. They bring their 7th child into the world and then their 8th. Therefore, we learn the first principle of surviving our own darkness. So we need to protect the glimmer of hope. When you're trapped in a seemingly hopeless situation, whether it's a cycle of debt, a deep depression, or a relationship that doesn't go your way, it feels like every effort you make is destroyed. The tyrant of circumstances wins every time. And in those moments, the most courageous act is simply to not give up, to protect the small, fragile possibility that the next attempt might be the one. You must protect that glimmer, no matter how small. And so on the 8th night, in the darkest hour, the divine child is born. He appears not as a normal baby, but with 4 arms holding the shankh, the chakra, the gada, and the lotus. A being of pure light in the suffocating darkness, and at that moment of his birth, a miracle happens. The chains on his parents' feet fall away. The prison doors, locked for years, swing open, and the guards, loyal to the tyrant, fall into a deep sleep. And a divine voice echoes in the dungeon, telling Vasudev to take the child across the river Yamuna to the village of Gokul and exchange him for the daughter just born there. Therefore, we learn the second principle. We need to trust the unseen path. See, when you are aligned with your true purpose, your dharma, and you have protected that glimmer of hope, a path will often open where none existed before. It will not make sense. It will defy logic. Your job is not to question the miracle. Your job is to have faith to walk through the open door. So Vasudev, with the divine child in a basket, steps out of the dungeon. But his journey is not over yet. A fierce storm is raging, and before him, the river Yamuna is a terrifying, swirling torrent of black water. This is his final test. He has the hope in his hands, he has the open doors behind him, but now he must face his greatest fear. He steps into the raging river. The water rises up to his neck, threatening to sweep him away. But as he pushes forward, the great serpent Sheshnag rises from the depths and spreads his hood over the child, protecting him from the storm. The river itself parts, allowing him to cross. So we learn the final, most crucial principle. You must cross your river of fear. Faith and hope are not enough. There comes a moment when you must take direct, courageous action. You have to step into the water. That raging river is your greatest fear. The fear of financial insecurity, of being judged, of the unknown. The story teaches us that when you take that step, when you walk through the fear in service of a higher purpose, the universe itself will conspire to protect you. The serpent will rise, the waters will part. Finally, Vasudev reaches Gokul. He exchanges the children and returns to his prison cell with the baby girl. The spell breaks and the guards awaken. Kans storms in and seizes the child, but as he tries to kill her, she flies from his grasp and reveals her true form as the goddess Yogmaya. And she looks down at the tyrant and says, "You fool! The one who will destroy you is already born, and he is alive and well." Kans is left standing in the darkness, his doom now sealed. The birth of Krishna is the ultimate lesson in hope. And if you want to continue deconstructing these powerful narratives with us, I invite you to subscribe. It teaches us that our freedom is not found by waiting for the dungeon walls to crumble. It is found by protecting the glimmer of hope within us, trusting the unseen path when it opens, and having the courage to cross our own river of fear. But now a question for you. Vasudev had to carry his hope through a raging river. In your own life, what is one river of fear you have had to cross or are preparing to cross right now? Let's create a space for courage. Share your story in the comments below.